So a long time ago, and the last time I spoke about anime in a proper dedicated YouTube video, I did a review of Kiss X Sis. I kind of never want to go back there ever again. Even looking back at the review that I did, I brought up some very good points, but it was a little bit cringe. Even though it's actually one of the best performing videos I've actually done on this channel, and it was a very long time ago. But since I feel as if I've progressed past that, and there's another anime that's popped up that I absolutely adore instead of absolutely despise, it's about time we talk about that instead. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the YouTube channel, welcome to me and my show. I don't know what that was. It's TheXploder, here on YouTube for your explosive enjoyment. And today we're going to be talking about Record of Ragnarok, and why you should both be watching and reading this amazing piece of animated and manga-based beauty. It's great, let's go. Now, just to bring something up before we go on, number one, I'm planning not to do as many spoilers as you may think, so please enjoy. If I am going to bring up any spoilers at all, I will give you a warning before we go ahead. On top of that, this isn't a review of the show, and this isn't a review of the manga. This is more so a lowdown of what everything's about with Record of Ragnarok to get you interested, as well as my pluses and minuses when it comes to the anime. Without further ado, let's get friggin' going. Record of Ragnarok's story is based on a very simple premise. We start off with the gods. And when I'm talking about the gods, I'm talking about every god from every pantheon known to mankind. You want to see Zeus sitting next to Shiva, sitting next to Buddha? This is the show that will literally make that happen. And the gods have come together after another 1,000 years of the human race existing, and they are simply voting, do we let the human race exist for another 1,000 years, or do we wipe them off the face of the earth because of everything they've done involving war, pollution, and God knows what? They all unanimously decide that they hate humanity, and they want to wipe humanity off the face of the earth. That is until the Valkyrie, Brunhilde, approaches Zeus as he is about to lay down the hammer and says, I enact Ragnarok. Ragnarok in this universe not being anything like what Ragnarok is depicted as in actual Norse mythology. Ragnarok in this universe is instead a grand tournament fight, pitting humans versus gods in a last-ditch effort to save themselves. And thus, here we go. After the gods have a little bit of a convincing session about it, Ragnarok is enacted, and now we have to set the stage. 13 fighters representing the humans and 13 fighters representing the gods, battling it out against one another, and the first to earn 7 victories wins the tournament. If the gods win, then humanity will be wiped off the face of the earth. If humanity wins, they manage to survive for another 1,000 years. And that is literally it. The entire show is one gigantic tournament arc on steroids, and I friggin' love it. So going forward from here, I'm going to assume that you know about anime and tournament arcs, and that you understand some of the main construction that goes behind making some of these tournament arcs brilliant. And normally, most of the time with a tournament arc, it's not normally the first arc of the show. Normally the first arc of the show introduces your characters, introduces their backstories, maybe not fully, but at least a little bit, introduces aspects of other characters that the main character comes between, and then during the fight, maybe dives into things a little bit, but probably not too much, and the fight can go on anywhere between 3 to 5, maybe even 10 episodes if you're going to make it that way. But the fights in Record of Ragnarok act a little bit different. If you know about your god mythologies, and if you know about your human history, then a lot of these fights, as soon as you read who's going off against who, is immediately going to grab your attention, and your imagination is going to run wild with how they're going to fight, how they're going to counteract one another, and how awesome it is before you've even read or watched anything. But if you have no idea who these people are as you're going in, the anime is constructed in such a way so that the fight gets on right out of the bat. There's no lead in with long backstories, there's no long understanding as to who all these characters are or whatnot. You are literally thrown into the fight itself. But as the fight goes on, you will then have spliced into it events of that character's backstory to give you an idea of as to what they've had to go through leading into this fight themselves. Because the humans that are fighting are in the prime of their life, so you have all the history of their life prior to their prime. While the gods, well, they're the freaking gods, they've done God knows what throughout the entire time of humanity itself. I really like how Record of Ragnarok does this in the manga. It's translated beautifully well in the anime, and it really gives you an idea of getting hyped for the matches as the matches keep going on. Apart from the matches being started, you having the hype, and then there just being moments in the match where there's nothing going on, or there's just long stretches when you're seeing what's happening to other characters and not what's happening in the fight, and it kinda tests your hype levels. Well, this definitely keeps your hype levels at a consistent rate. So at the moment of making this video, on Netflix there are 12 episodes of the Record of Ragnarok anime. These 12 episodes go through the first 3 fights of Ragnarok itself. Now, I'm not going to go too in-depth with the fights in this video, and I am going to spoil who is featured in these fights, but not spoil who wins which fight, because then what's the whole point of you going off and watching or reading if I just tell you who bloody well wins? So if you don't want to be spoiled as to who fights who in this anime, then please skip this part. I will put a timestamp on screen, as well as a little timestamp in the description below, so you can click that, immediately skip through, and we'll get through to the rest of the video for you. Okay? Brilliant. Now let's go ahead. Fight number 1 features the God of Thunder, Thor, going toe-to-toe against one of the greatest generals in Chinese warfare, Lu Bu. Fight number 2, and probably my favorite fight prior to fight number 4, features the first human, the father of mankind, Adam, going one-on-one with the God of Gods, the Greek mythos himself, Zeus. And the third fight, featuring one of the most powerful gods of the Greek pantheon and brother to Zeus, Poseidon, versus one of humanity's greatest losers, Kojiro Sasaki. Now, this is a little added tidbit at the very little end before we finish the spoiler section. At the end of the very last 12th episode of the anime so far, we have the big reveal of round number 4, which has me insanely hyped, because I've read the manga, I know where it's going, and it's my favorite fight in the manga, and I can't wait to see it animated. Fight number 4, in case you're interested and you don't mind spoilers, is Jack the Ripper fighting for humanity versus the half-man, half-god Hercules. So like I said, I have no plans on spoiling the fight themselves, who wins, the battle themselves, and how grueling the fight is between the god and human involved. But if you do want to see my thoughts on the fights that we have in the anime so far, or even the fights we have in the manga, then let me know. I'll gladly make more videos on it if you're interested. The Record of Ragnarok anime is really darn accurate to the manga, and on top of that, looks gorgeous. There are some amazing scenes in the anime. Some of these scenes directly ripped out of the panels of the manga, which in animated form look gorgeous, and I have to celebrate the team behind it because they have done an amazing job to make that work. And you will see this a lot more specifically when you get to the Zeus versus Adam fight, as there is a lot going on, and boy does it get you excited for the fights coming up ahead. You do notice there are some 3D animation bits lightly added in there as well, but like they have done in recent years, they don't take away from the 2D animation, they just add to it to make it a little bit more impactful. Unlike some animated adaptations. I'm looking at you, Berserk! Why do you have to ruin it? Also, did I mention that the opening song for the Record of Ragnarok anime is performed by Maximum the Hormone, the same guys that did the second opening to Death Note. I freaking love those guys! Now, if you want to get an idea as to what the animation is like, because I'm not going to be showing it in this video due to copyright concerns, think of it like you're just watching Dragon Ball for the first time. You haven't seen any other battle anime, and this is your first introduction to anime, yet alone fighting-based anime in itself. And you're watching Goku and Piccolo versus Raditz for the very first time. The impact of every single attack, the dramatic nature of the fight itself, where you don't know whether Earth's mightiest warriors are actually going to stand a chance against an alien force, and of course the gripping and enticing hype moments that keep you interested and keep you going, come on, you can do it! It's moments like that that make an anime, at least involving battling, that extra bit more awesome. And I'm happy to say Record of Ragnarok ticks every single one of those boxes. I think it's only fair though that we talk about some areas that I have noticed that could use a little bit of work and that you should keep an eye out on if you want to be critical about the anime itself. Yes, the animation is great. Yes, the anime itself is a great depiction of the manga. Is it a full-on replacement to the manga? No, it really isn't. There are some amazing manga panels that are just never going to be translated one-to-one when it comes to anime. And the anime kind of proves this as well. There's an amazing scene involving Adam and Zeus during their fight that in the manga is depicted beautifully with some amazing line art and some amazing artwork in itself that just makes that manga pop even more. In the anime, it looks okay and it looks good, but it's not great to perfect, which is what the manga is. So if you're going into the anime thinking that it is the single best version of what you're going to get, sorry to say, the manga's still superior, but that's not to crap on the anime, because the anime is still really, really good. The only other concern that I had as well was involving one voice actor, and this is bearing in mind, the voice acting in the entirety of the show is really done great. Some big names as well, playing some amazing parts and doing some amazing work with the characters that they're given. Apart from one that I might just not be convinced on yet, and it's the performance of Tim Friedlander playing Ares, the God of War. And Ares is a really big, muscular, Romanesque guy, and I just feel as if his voice isn't quite there for me yet. I don't know, maybe this is just something I have to get used to, maybe it's something that by the time we see fight number 4 and onward in the anime, I would actually really enjoy, but bearing in mind that the rest of the voice acting is spot on and really good, and that's the only voice actor I have any concerns about, says something. And even then, it's not as if his performance is bad. His performance is really good. It was just a little bit jarring to hear that voice come out of that character. If you watch the anime and if you watch Ares, please let me know what you guys think in the comments. I may only be in the view of this one, but by all means, I'm not crapping on Tim Friedlander's performance. His performance was great. I just think the voice doesn't match the character quite as accurately as I thought. So I kind of hinted this in the previous part of the video, and I get to confirm it yet again in this section. Yes, the manga is superior to the anime, but in no way does that take away from how good the anime is. Plus, if you want to get up to date with the future fights before they get animated, I would definitely and highly recommend reading the manga. But if you're going to read the manga starting from fight number 4, because we've obviously seen up to fight 3 in the anime, stop right there. You need to start from the very beginning, because there are aspects in the manga that have not been translated into the anime that I think you should read into and understand a lot more. Plus, there are some fantastic translations in the English version of the manga that just weren't depicted in the anime at all, which left me a little bit upset, but I could probably understand why, as those translations are fan translations at the moment, and as far as I'm aware, there is no plan to have an official translation of the Record of Ragnarok manga in the West, which I find really terrible, because I mean, we need this. Hello? So bear that in mind. And plus, on top of all that, if you do read the manga and get up to date at the moment, we are in the middle of fight number 6. I'm friggin' stoked. Trust me, you think that Adam versus Zeus is the best fight, or if you even think that Kojiro Sasaki versus Poseidon is the best fight, just wait. The fights get even better than what you can even imagine. It's incredible. I'd highly recommend reading the manga anyway for anyone else interested, but if you want to wait for the next season of the anime, I don't blame you. The anime just keeps you enticed just as much as the manga does, which in itself should be proof that the anime has worked. Don't be put off. Read the manga because it's that damn great, but that's not to crap on the anime at all. The anime is really great. And ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have to say on Record of Ragnarok. That's all, and I just love the series itself. I think it's brilliant. When I was introduced to it, I didn't know what to think, and then when I read into it, and then now that I'm hyped that we finally have the anime, I actually just can't believe that we have it. It's brilliant, and I highly recommend it to anyone out there that wants their battle anime fix and wants something a little bit different. But if you've watched Record of Ragnarok, or if you've even read up to date with Record of Ragnarok, let me know what you think about the series down in the comments, and let's have some banter about it. And whilst you head down there and go past the description of this video, go in there and you'll see a bunch of social links, including a link over to my Twitch channel, where we live stream every Tuesday, Thursday and Friday with some more explosive action that you guys can directly get involved with. On top of that, I also have links to my other social media sections, especially Discord, where we chill out, do all sorts together. You have direct contact with yours truly, and we also have movie nights at least every single week. You might as well subscribe to the channel while you're down there as well. I mean, go on, it's there, you're going to be passing it, you know, it's that big red button that you go by. You've seen it probably a million times by now. There's a little bell icon next to it as well. Go on, give that a tap. Give it a bit of a love tap. I know you want to. Love you. And with all that being said, I'll see you next time for another one. Stay safe, stay awesome, but most importantly, stay explosive. I'm seeing you guys and Record of Ragnarok next time.